Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I am here in Motor City at the Ford World Headquarters in this special secret room to bring you something super special. What is it? It's this vehicle right here. This is your 2025 Ford Explorer. But before we get into this now mid-size three-row SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. It goes back to 1991. That was the birth of the Ford Explorer. And it really was something revolutionary because the vehicle it replaced, believe it or not, was the Bronco 2. No, that wasn't a full-size Bronco. That was the smaller Bronco. Now, really where the Explorer started to get its stride was in the second generation. And from that moment on, it has been that top-selling SUV in the market. And guess what? When it comes to the competition, the numbers have increased over the years. Now, Ford is aware of this, and Ford knows that they want to stay in front of that curve when it comes to technology, design, and of course, performance. So what they did was they decided to make some changes, not only to the way that the Explorer looks, but also the way the Explorer feels, and also the connection between you and the technology. So what I want to find out is if you're looking for the best new three-row crossover SUV, is this new Ford Explorer the way to go? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, you're going to notice a new shape to it, a new face. And that comes with a lot of changes that they made with the headlight housing, with the grille. But what's also important to remember is they've made some big changes in the trim lineup. So you're going to have 4 different trim levels. Entryway into the Explorer family is going to be called Active. It's all about going on that family adventure, taking that road trip. If you desire some sporty feel and appearance, you could step up to what this vehicle is, which is the ST line. Then, of course, if you want the extra power and that all-wheel drive or wheel-wheel drive performance, because you get to have it your way like Burger King, that's when you step up to the ST. And then, of course, if you want it all, especially when it comes to that luxury style feel, you could go with the Platinum. But let me show you some of the specific details on the ST line. First of all, you're going to notice that all-new headlight housing. I love the way they shaped it. They brought some dark black elements to the interior, and of course, full LED lighting. LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and your turn signals. Now, with this special shaped headlight housing, you're gonna have a whole new front fascia bumper area, and look at how aggressive it is on this ST line. You'll notice some gloss black, but surrounding it in the center is gonna be that LED fog lamp. You do have ginormous corner air curtains. Not only does that give you a nice, bold appearance, but that's gonna help with the airflow as it hits the front end of this Explorer. Working our way down, some flat black, and then you'll notice that lower lip with the gloss black touch. And like I said, this is the ST line trim. Now, as we come across that iconic badge, the Ford Blue Oval, we have that all new grille design. First of all, you're going to notice it's fully functional, wide, large openings. You actually have active aero shutters behind the grille. Those are there to help with overall efficiency, opening and closing depending on what type of cooling that you need. You'll also notice on this particular ST line, you do have a forward-facing camera. Very important in those day-to-day things when it comes to parking in tight places. And then as you work your way down, you have that flat black bottom center portion fully functional as well. But just like before, you have your choice of rear-wheel drive or optional all-wheel drive. And that's one of the things that I think makes driving the Explorer, no matter which trim you go with, it makes it such a unique experience, is because in the mid-size three-row SUV segment, there's not a lot of rear-wheel drive based vehicles. Most of them are front-wheel drive based, and then you could option in all-wheel drive. But this is rear-wheel drive, with the optional all-wheel drive. Now, as we rise up, I love the way the hood has this appearance of just sitting up higher. You're gonna have that signature style to the Explorer name across that lower portion right above the grille. And then Ford does a great job with the indentations that they put on their hoods. You have this large U shape, and then you'll notice you have the two on the outside ends. Really gives it, like I said, a bold appearance, but it keeps it classy. Now, underneath the hood, you're still gonna have some engine choices. What are those gonna be? Entry level is gonna be a 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine. What is EcoBoost? Remember, that's that turbocharged power plant. Or you could go, for example, go with the ST that comes with that 3 liter EcoBoost engine, which is a twin turbo V6 pumping out 400 horsepower. Now, all the transmissions, what you're gonna have a choice is gonna be a 10-speed. So no matter what engine option you go with, whether it's a 2.3 liter or the 3 liter EcoBoost, you're gonna be getting that 10-speed automatic. And the great news is it's been retuned for this 2025 model year. And I'm telling you right now, if it's anything like how they retune the 10-speed in the Mustang, there's gonna be some nice, pleasurable changes to that driving experience. Now, as we come around the bend, besides the front end style, one of the biggest touches you're gonna see are wheels. And when we say big, literally on this ST line, we have the largest wheel. This is gonna be your optional 21-inch wheel. Love this gunmetal gray finish. Nice satin appearance to it. And it's one of those things that wheel gives the style to the vehicle so much. You're gonna have the signature bright red calipers. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what are the other wheel options? Depending on what trim you go with, that's gonna dictate what is available. So your entry level, which is active, that's gonna be an 18-inch wheel. You're gonna have a few different touches of 20-inch wheels. And then this is the big boy. This is the 21-inch wheel. And if you're wondering, Joe, what's the tire size? 275 on the width, 45 series sidewall. And I'm telling you right now, this would be my wheel of choice. Really love the way they work that. Now, you do have a little bit of flat black around the fender openings. The good news is it's not too high into the fender. It seems like some other brands, they keep carrying it higher and higher into the fender where the whole car looks like it's just flat black plastic. This, it's tastefully done, and I like the way it has a nice indentation. Now, coming down the side of the vehicle, of course, you're gonna get your ST line badge. Remember, this is starts at active, then you go ST line. You're gonna have tasteful gloss black on the mirror caps, your LED turn signals built into those side mirrors, and then you'll notice as Lori kind of drops back a little bit, two-tone style. There's been a lot of customers that Ford spoke to, and one of the things that they found out is that people were taking their Explorers and getting them wrapped to have a two-tone setup like this. So Ford obviously wants to make everybody happy, so they went ahead and brought the two-tone. Now, one of the things I want to point out, which I think really separates it from the rest of the other two-tone designs that are out there in the midsize three-row SUV segment, is first of all, you'll notice that your A-pillar is blacked out, but watch as we go towards the middle portion. Look at how they kept it body colored in this area. It almost looks like a blade that's coming up towards that flat roof line. And when they went to the current gen of the Ford Explorer, the flat roof just really gives it a nice look to it, where it's modern. And then of course, wait until we get to the interior, you're gonna see that familiar, nice open passenger space. Of course, you're gonna get raised roof rails. I like the way they kept these flat black. They went flat black on this, especially if you're gonna use this as that family hauler, because if you're gonna have tie downs and different bungee cords, a lot of times these can get all scratched. This flat black is definitely gonna take a better beating over time. Now on the ST line, you'll notice how they have that knife blade of gloss black on that lower door area, both front and rear. And then of course the Explorer name stamped in. It's nice to see them put the fine details, but not put a bunch of just stuck on emblems all over the place. Like they could have easily spelled out Explorer on the door with some stick on emblems. Like the way they just have it nice, simple, clean, gets the point across. Coming towards the rear, of course, you're gonna have your color match door handles. Really, really nicely done. The rear quarter window, Like the way they don't bring any trim around it, so it all falls in seamless into that rear quarter panel. And then when we get to the tail end of the business, this is where you're gonna see some nice bright changes. And what I mean by bright is you have all new LED brake lights, turn signals, the whole shabam. Look at the way they styled it into that gloss black on the lift back area. The Explorer name prominently displayed. Now, if you go, say, with an ST, you're still gonna get your quad tip exhaust. This particular one, because an ST line, does not have the exposed exhaust. But like I said, if you want it, you could step up to ST or, of course, Platinum. Working our way down, just like on the side, they brought some nice gloss black accents. Standard is gonna be your tow hitch capability. That's gonna be on all the trims. And then this one is optioned with the 4-wheel drive. So like I said, the Explorer is rear-wheel drive base. This one happens to be the optional 4-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, it's not just about the exterior on this one, let's get to the interior and see the big changes that Ford has in store for this 2025 Explorer. All right, guys, we are inside this all-new 2025 Ford Explorer. Like I said, this particular one is the ST line. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, my family's growing. I want to get rid of the compact SUV that I have. I want to get a midsize. I'm liking what the Explorer is bringing on the outside. I can't wait to see what the inside brings, but how much is it? So no official pricing yet, but what they are saying officially, starting MSRP will be right around $41,000, and you could expect these Explorers to show up second quarter of 2024. But with that being said, let's go ahead and see how Ford has upped the ante to the door panels. What you're immediately going to notice is the heightened level of materials. Nice soft touch, all of the red stitching. Of course, when you think red stitching, you're thinking of that ST line trim and ST trim. You'll notice the silver finishes and, of course, the B&O sound system speakers with that gray finish right around the door switch locks. No gloss black, so you don't have to worry about the fingerprints. And that door pocket is super large to where you could get at least 5 Coney dogs in there and a bottle of root beer to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, one of the things that's going to stand out is how we have our sound bar now in that center portion of the dash. B&O soundbar, more speakers than before. Look at the way they brought the touches. It's all about the fine details. The Explorer name that goes across in that lower portion, this gunmetal gray finish, and also the soft touch with the red stitching. Now, as you go from that area to the all-new supersize infotainment system. And the great news is this is standard on all trims from active all the way to platinum. 13-inch infotainment system. It is that iPad style, full touchscreen capability, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You, of course, now have things like the Google Assistant, and you have Alexa. But let me show you one of my favorite touches. So I'm going to go ahead, hit the little car icon. That's going to bring me into settings. We could adjust our ambient lighting. It's like having that box of crayons that kid back in first grade made you so jealous. He had the sharpener. He had 64 different colors. Well, guess what? Now you get to make that kid jealous because you have all the colors of that Crayola set in here, and you could easily adjust it with the swipe of a finger. Like the way they set that up. Another thing you'll notice is, look, full 360 spin of the Ford Explorer on the screen, and it's the same color, same wheels, and also has our panoramic sunroof. It's the fine touches that leads to the big picture. You got hill descent control, and now I'm going to hit the little multiple dots. Look at all these apps. It's got more apps than an app store, all within the system. And what's great is these could be updated over time. They could be more added. Looking around, some of the ones that stand out to me, of course, YouTube, since that's where we're featured. Raiti's Rides on YouTube, podcasts. But what is this? Games. So you hit the games icon. asphalt nitro. Believe it or not, Ford actually worked and developed a game as part of this setup system. The only problem is I wish I had a controller. The good news is to play the game, you don't need a controller, but if only I had a controller right now. I'm gonna hit this Shelby here, GT350R. If only I had a controller. Well, look at this. In that lower section, you have a full game controller, perfectly set up. I know a lot of people would want to put their Twinkies in there, but how nice is it when you're sitting in the carpool lane, waiting for your kids to get out of school, you could play a few games. You don't have to be bored just looking at Facebook and Instagram. You could actually be connected with your Ford Explorer, and this is something that Ford really worked on with this vehicle. I could even take it to the paint shop. Hey, look at that, there's the Raiti's Rise GT350R. Absolutely love this. It really just makes it extra special. You're gonna have all new cameras, of course, front-facing camera, backup camera. I like the way they have this metal feature here. So when you're touching the screen, for example, watch this. I'm gonna go all the way back home. We're gonna exit out of this, which I'm just gonna go, look, see how simple that is? And I've just been sitting in this car for about a minute. I wanna adjust my fan speed. I could do that all right here. Say I wanna turn on heated seats, ventilates, which remember, on Explorer Standard, you get heated seats. 3 stages of heated seats, so that's another nice touch. Heated steering wheel, but you have a nice little finger holder here and the Ruffles Ridges material, like the way they did that. Start stop button. They still give you a real physical volume knob, shut off that pesky auto start stop feature. There's our forward facing camera. There we are in the secret studio, 360 cam. Look how clear the resolution is, and it takes up all screen size. And then working our way back down, you got your wireless charging. You could actually have separate phones connected wirelessly at the same time. To me, that's smart. This area is all new. Look at the way it extends outward towards you. It's all about ease of use in here. Not just about the better materials, the better sound from the B&O sound system, more speakers, but also just ease of use. I want to close this up just to show you how they thought of the touches. You hit the button, boop. There's our game charger, our game controller. You got 12 volts, USB-C, USB-A, so they got you covered there. 2 cup holders on the side. Look at this, you have a little bit of a banana holder. So if you're walking around with your bananas, you can slide them right in there. This is gonna control, like before, your 10-speed automatic, which has been refreshed for 2025. Different drive modes, which are nice. 2 cup holders. Of course, you gotta have the Twinkie tray. 3 Twinkies, soft touch material, stitching, open it up. Look at this. You could easily put that Detroit Lions game-winning football when they beat the Bucks. Yes, they beat the Bucks. You could keep that football in there, and there's another USB-C in there. And that's one thing to remember is that they've multiplied. It's almost like Gremlins. They've multiplied the amount of USBs in here and also 12 volts, which is a nice touch. And then the seats, the material, the stitching. Look at the way they did this ribbed area with the racing stripe almost in there. Standard on the Explorer is a 4-way power seat for the passenger. Standard on the driver's side is a 10-way power seat, and this one has our supersized panoramic sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this 2025 Explorer. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. The great news is you have 3 memory seat settings. So if you're lucky enough to have 2 other friends that you trust to drive your new Explorer, they could save their memory seat setting and not screw up yours. Working our way on the sill plate, I love when you go ST line, you have this nice aluminum sill plate with the badge there. You'll also notice my Ford Performance race booties I have on. That was something that we specially had to wear because we are in this secret location at the Ford headquarters. Now, full power assist, like I said, 10-way adjustable standard on the new Explorer. I'm 6 feet tall, got plenty of headroom. And no, if you're wondering, does this LED lighting that's attached to the headliner come with the vehicle? No. Obviously, they put that in here so that we could give you a clear bird's eye view of what the changes are to this new Explorer. Steering wheel, love the thickness, Look at the way they did the stitching. Crisscross all the way around, crisscross applesauce. You got flat black on all the switch gear. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then standard 12.3-inch display. You'll notice that you're not looking at the infotainment system, but you can still see your maps directly in front of you. And then, of course, the modes. And it's like playing a game like we were earlier on the dash with the way the graphics, the colors, you got your off-road mode, tow haul mode, and of course, our favorite, the sport mode. But nice to see the technology in here, not only for you to utilize, but for you to also connect with. But why don't we go ahead, it's not just about the people up front, that would be selfish. Let's get into the mid-row and the third row of this Explorer. All right, guys, mid-row time, and this is where you could see the continuation of the materials. It's not just, like I said, the people up front, but everybody's gonna get the upgraded materials. You'll see the seats, same pattern, same design, very sporty, but classy. And I think that these are gonna wear very well. And if obviously you're driving one of these around, you've probably got a bunch of kids, like you said, this is gonna be able to clean very easily. I think one of the things that I've always liked about the Explorer, look at our armrest, our captain's chair armrest, nice beefy armrest, and you'll notice how they upped the stitch game. They did not go cheap on the stitching. Backs of the seats, same news. Soft touch material, nice large pockets, easily get 2 of Detroit's finest hot pretzels with some extra salt and mustard. That tastes good. And then of course our little command center. We have the Explorer name prominently displayed. You got your blower fan, temperature, and we have our 2 stages of heated seats. Down below there's more USB-Cs, home power source, and your 2 cup holders. Now if you're wondering about the seats, supportive, I'm 6 feet tall. Even with the panoramic sunroof, I'm not even close to the headliner. And like I said, the LED tube lighting does not come with this. What does come with this is that you do have the nice sliding seats, which are great. Of course, they recline. And then what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna move this up a little bit because we're gonna do this all in one shot. Watch how simple this is. Into the third row. And now what's new for the third row, which remember, sometimes the third row, car manufacturers forget about who's sitting back here. It's like they're peasants or something. You're still getting the same great seat material, but now there's USB-Cs back here. And you can see the 2 USB-Cs that we have located right on the side here for that easy access. Plus you got a couple more banana holders. So if your family is lacking potassium, you got 2 things you could do. Get a bunch of broccoli or just get some bananas and keep them back here for the kids. But why don't we go ahead? It's not just about this passenger room and the room for the people. It's about the room for your stuff. Let's get into that cargo area and check it out. All right, guys, tail end of the business. Of course, you need to have the room to haul the stuff around, and it's real simple. And guess what? Standard is gonna be an electric lift gate. So power lift gate, hit the button, nice quick response. I have the third row up, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna put the third row down. Now, if you're wondering what are all these wires, this is for the power inverter so that we could utilize all of the electrical things on this vehicle. Of course, yours will not have wires all over the place. But let's show you how easy it is to put down this third row. You're just gonna pull up on the tabs here to have the headrest fold down. And now you have a nice little system of buttons. There's also right by there a 12 volt, and we're just gonna hit one touch. Wait, I hit it twice. Didn't like that. So one touch, look at this. I could actually drop them both at the same time. I didn't know that. That's something I just learned. But we're gonna make them both go down. So you have a choice, both going down at the same time or the 50-50 split. And then those captain's chairs will then of course fold down as well. Lori can give you a bird's eye view of what I was showing you with the compartment for the bananas and the USB-Cs. But nice to have that flat floor so you could get those extra large things into the back of your Explorer. But I know what you're saying. You wanna go for a spin, and I promise you, we're gonna do that. It's not time yet. This was the first look, but stay tuned for the first drive. But we need to wrap it up here from Motor City, so let's get to it. All right, guys, very, very special occasion to be given the first look of this Explorer. We definitely got to thank everybody at Ford for allowing us access to this 2025 Ford Explorer. Crazy to think where Ford has come and where they're at today, and thinking about the Model T, but also thinking about that first year of the Explorer. But let me know what your thoughts are on this Explorer, the changes that they made to the exterior, of course, the changes to the interior, and don't forget the changes to the technology. Let me know if you're excited about the Explorer in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Of course, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Lori G. Raiti working that camera like a champ. This is the third state that we've been in the last 2 days. So do the math on that. Action is happening here. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.